Happy Halloween, Talking Toku, even though we're doing this a whole week and a half before Halloween. Ooh. Did I spook you?
Get spooked.
Are you spooked, Brian?
I'm shaking in my boots.
Good. I'm glad to know I've still got it. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Talking Toku, Boston and Bellingham's only podcast about Godzilla, Gamera, Ultraman, and all their kaiju friends. I am your host, David.
I'm Brian.
And you heard it. It's spooky season. Halloween.
It's the sequel to our last Halloween episode.
Halloween special. Yeah.
Which was one whole year ago, if you'll believe it.
Which is kind of wild. But yeah, it's Halloween season. It's right around the corner. And we talked about this last episode. If you heard that, which you should have, because it's a wild episode, let me tell you, if you haven't heard it yet.
Yep.
But we talked about hey, we're gonna follow up on our promise from last year when we covered 100 Monsters, the first film, the Yokai Monsters trilogy. We are today discussing the second movie in the Yokai Monsters trilogy, Spook Warfare. And I, personally, Brian, am really excited to talk about it because I really, really liked it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I am also excited to talk about it.
Sick. Glad we're
because
on the same page.
What a trip. A trip.
It honestly, yeah, it's pretty wacky, but it's very delightful.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is Talking Toku. We don't get into things right off the bat. You know how things work here. We got to talk about the news. And honestly, you know, what's spookier than like not having a whole lot of news, because that's been the theme of the past couple episodes. I know it's been like there was a large gap in from the last episode from the one before that, so we had a lot of news last time, but before that gap there was a couple of weeks where we just had like very little news. And that's the case again today. This first
back
one,
to normal.
Yeah, you know, that's the theme here on Talking Toku. But this one's less of a news story than a discussion topic. But pre-orders have gone up for Mill Creek's releases for Ultraman Nexus, which will include Ultraman the Next, Ultraman Max, and Ultraman Kids 3000 Light Years in Search of Mother. While this isn't all that important by itself, because we have talked about the fact that those were announced a while ago. It's looking like these are actually going to be the last of Mill Creek's Ultraman releases. It's only been about 3 years or so since they first started putting these out with Ultra Q and Ultraman back in October of 2019. And honestly, like what a run it's been. As we discussed a few months ago, I don't know, what kind of blurs together. They've released pretty much every mainline Ultra series. I think the only ones they skipped out on, most of them due to rights issues, are Ultraman Towards the Future, Ultraman the Ultimate Hero, Ultra Q Dark Fantasy, and the shows that came out during or after the deal with Tsuburaya Productions went through. Those being Ultraman Taiga, Ultraman Z, Ultraman Trigger, New Generation Tiga, and of course the currently airing Ultraman Decker. The latter three of which are of course available for free on Tsuburaya Productions' YouTube channel and Ultraman Connection. So this is it, Brian. There's not going to be any more Ultraman releases.
That's so sad.
I know. I mean, I really was looking forward to seeing Taiga because a lot of people really like Taiga, but I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to watch it now.
But Dave, I mean, we've been watching Decker, and they have all these ads to buy Ultraman Trigger.
Yeah.
So
on Japanese
you have that
Blu-ray
option.
Yeah, but I could do that, but it won't have any English subtitles because most Japanese releases, I could learn Japanese. I took those 2 semesters in college, haven't retained a single thing.
Yep, that's what I was asking.
No,
yeah.
you know what the one thing I remember is? I remember how to count to 10. And you know what? That's not even from the Japanese classes I took. That's from when I took karate in like elementary school.
See, as a kid, you retain more information because your
Exactly.
brain has more plasticity. So if you're gonna learn a language, go back in time to when you're 10.
So I should learn Japanese when I'm in second grade. Gotcha.
Yes,
Sounds good to me.
absolutely. Yeah, do that.
All right, I can deal with that. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, it's kind of a end of an era kind of thing. It's a little sad to see Mill Creek go, but we've
Who
had
knows? Maybe sometime in the future they'll do it all.
yeah they'll re up the
Maybe.
license or something. I know I especially would love to see Towards the Future and the Ultimate Hero because those are actually co-productions between. I'm trying to remember which is which. One of them is a North American co-production, and the other one is an Australian co-production. And I think the cool thing is, the American co-production, I believe, Jeffrey Combs is in one of the episodes. Jeffrey Combs, of course. I mean, if you're listening to this episode, this podcast, you don't know who Jeffrey Combs is. Shame on you, but probably most well known as Herbert from Reanimator. That's the name of the character, right? Herbert. Herbert West.
I'm pretty sure that's correct.
It's been a while since I've seen Reanimator. I just want to double check.
Yes, that is correct. It's Herbert West.
It's been a couple of years since I've seen Reanimator. But yeah. And of course he's a character actor, so he's very, very well versed in genre films. I'm gonna see. Let me see if I can find which series he was in. Okay, it was The Ultimate Hero he was in. Okay, that's not helpful, Wikipedia, but thank you though. But yeah, like that's kind of a weird like connection, just having someone like Jeffrey Combs be in an Ultraman series. It's very cool. So I always wanted to see that, but we're not getting that anytime soon, which is unfortunate. Oh well.
Very sad.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's because they're international co-productions. That's why there's like rights issues with them. So it might be a while before we ever get the official releases of those, which kind of blows. But whatever. Yeah.
Second news story?
Second news story, Brian. Go for it. I believe in you.
Okay. We've gotten a small teaser for the 50th anniversary short celebrating Godzilla vs. Gigan that will premiere next month on Godzilla Day.
November 3rd.
Yep. It's not much, just a quick tease at the newly built Gigan suit, which I'd like to add was crowdfunded. And I remember people being a little upset that Toho wanted the suit crowdfunded when they have so much money. But supposedly, Toho wanted to do the same thing as last year's short and just reuse the Gigan suit from Godzilla Final Wars. However, suit maker Shinichi Wakasa, who's built suits for a number of kaiju films, including the recent What to Do with the Dead Kaiju, almost every Millennium-era Godzilla film, and the entire Heisei Mothra trilogy, was the only one who wanted to build a more classic suit. So while Toho still could have paid for it themselves, it makes a little more sense knowing that it was a passion project from the start. I have not seen anything from this, but that does make more sense as to why it was crowdfunded.
Yeah. I mean, again, Toho still should have paid for it because they're one of the largest film studios in Japan, if not the largest. I don't know about that, but like they easily could have paid for it out of pocket. They could have funded it themselves.
Dave, capitalism. Come
I know,
on, buddy.
but like Godzilla is, it's Godzilla. It's like that's their brand, you know.
Quite literally.
Godzilla is a fucking tourism ambassador for Japan, like officially. There are Godzilla
I was going to say
stores.
cultural icon and also
that too.
Basically a
obviously.
national mascot.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely he is. And it's just like you couldn't have. I mean, yeah, I know it's just for a short film, which will probably get taken down off their YouTube channel after a week, like they did with the Godzilla vs. Hedorah short last year, which is honestly really shitty of them that they, and apparently they've been copyright striking anyone who tries to re-upload it, which is really shitty. But you could use that for anything. You could use it for press appearances. You know, they do that sometimes, not all the time, but they do it sometimes. I don't know. It just feels weird that they had Wakasa crowdfund that. But you know, it's whatever. It's the suit from the very short teaser we got, which is it's like a 20-second teaser of it like in shadow. It still looks really, really good. You know, it looks. I think the best way to describe it would be like, think about how Gigan looked to you when you first saw the movie as a kid. That's how this new suit looks.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right. I wanna look this up actually.
Yeah.
That looks fucking great.
Right? I mean, Shinichi Wakasa is a hell of a suit maker. Like, he's insane. I mean, again, he's made, like I said, most of the suits in the Millennium Era, all the suits in the Mothra trilogy, which while they're not good movies, the suits in those movies are incredible. They've got some of the coolest monster designs ever, I think. And he also did, I think he did a bunch of the Heisei Godzilla films, starting with Mechagodzilla 2. So I think he did Mechagodzilla 2, Space Godzilla, and Destroya, I believe. I can't. Yeah, it started with Mechagodzilla or Space Godzilla. I can't remember which, but yeah, like he did all the suits for Final Wars, which is awesome. So he knows what he's doing, to say the least.
I like Final War suits for the most part.
Yeah, I mean the Gigan suit, that's the one everyone loves, but
That is the one that most people love more.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people's favorites. Not mine, but it's a lot of people's.
Mm-hmm. But no, it looks good. We'll probably again, just like last year, there'll probably be a week long period where you'll be able to watch for legally, and then it'll be taken down because Toho is mean and doesn't like their fans.
And then it will end up on crowdsourced Google Drives all over the place.
Exactly, because that's the state of media collection or whatever now. Media preservation, that was the word I'm looking for.
That's correct.
Yeah.
It's awful.
I mean, we can talk all about that with fucking HBO Max and all that bullshit.
Yeah, we were best friends with HBO Max
really
for like
were.
a solid year, and then
year and a half or so.
They did the switch, and now we hate
David Zaslav, I think is his name. Fuck you, David Zaslav. Am I pronouncing your last name correct?
Not trustworthy.
I don't even care. It's true. They are not trustworthy. I can confirm that as a David myself.
Just like
trust me.
Italians.
Exactly. Especially Italians named David. Oh my god. You better watch
That's like a
back.
double double whammy of not trustworthy.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even know how long you've been. I don't know how you've stayed my friend this long, Brian. I could have stabbed you in the back so many times.
I've been friends with you for 15 plus years, and I've never trusted you a day.
Yeah, good. You keep it that way. Here's to another 15 years. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's kind of it for news.
No news. Any impromptu stuff we want to add here?
I feel like there was something. Oh, actually, yes. I didn't really care enough about this to make it a news segment, but I think earlier today, as of recording, of course, they I don't know who I couldn't tell you who they are because I don't know who. I mean, I guess it would be Toho. Released a trailer for a new pachinko game because everyone loves pachinko games, right?
I saw this.
Oh yeah. It's the Godzilla vs Evangelion pachinko game, and it's like a full CG like short film with Shin Godzilla. And I only saw Unit 1, but they actually like had the there was a figure released a couple years ago that kind of promoted Shin Godzilla. It was like Unit 1 kind of mutating into like a Godzilla clone kind of thing, and that's actually in the pachinko game, which is really cool. My only question about it is that they have King Ghidorah in there, but like they used the Heisei Ghidorah and not the official Shin King Ghidorah that they had for the Universal Pictures 4D ride. That's
What the
also
fuck?
Godzilla versus Evangelion. So I don't really know why they did that, cuz like they had a model right there. Why did they
Too
not?
expensive.
I get, I don't know. I don't know. But
You're
like
breaking continuity.
this,
I'm
but like
losing.
but no, Brian. From what it looks like, the 91 Ghidorah, the Heisei Ghidorah looks like a new model. I've never seen that model before. Unless it's an edited model from the Godzilla PlayStation game, which it could be, but it looks way better than that. I don't know.
I don't know. Uh, I got no answers for you.
Also, I saw this on Twitter. I haven't watched the whole thing, but apparently the English subtitles for the trailer seem to imply that Shin Godzilla and Neon Genesis Evangelion actually do take place in the same universe, just like
don't
way
fucking
in the
believe it.
future. I don't know if I believe that either, but it's just really
I don't
funny.
believe it.
The fact
The only reason that's going on is to get all the Godzilla and Evangelion fans to fucking shit their pants.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And
100%.
it doesn't take much to do that.
Nope, no, it does not. But it's just
I don't
really
believe
funny.
it.
I mean, I don't care because like it doesn't, detract from my enjoyment of either of those things. I still love Shin Godzilla and Evangelion, separately from each other. So, it's just a funny haha in that case if that does end up being confirmed canon.
I don't believe it unless Hideaki Anno comes out of nowhere and says it.
I do not think Hideaki Anno will ever come out and say that
In English.
Not because it's not canon in his mind, but because he does not fucking care. That's my take on it.
That too. Also, he seems pretty fucking done with Evangelion at this point.
Pretty much. And
honestly,
okay
I don't blame him. I do not blame him because the fans of Evangelion alone are enough to drive people insane.
No. I mean, we're fans, but we're the good fans. We don't give a shit.
I buy their expensive Blu-ray set and I shut up about it.
Exactly.
And I never talk to anybody about Evangelion.
I haven't even bought the expensive Blu-ray set.
I bought the expensive Blu-ray set because I fucking love how it looks on my shelf, and also because I do watch it with regularity.
Mm-hmm. I have the 3 Rebuild films. But that's only because 3.0 plus 1.0 isn't out on Blu-ray yet in the States.
I do need to buy that. I also did see I went and I saw Howl's Moving Castle when it got re-released in theaters for a day.
Yeah.
Or for a couple days. And what's that program called again? Through
Fathom
Regal
Events?
Yeah, apparently they're showing 3.1 plus 1.0 or something again in theaters at some point.
I think that's in December. I remember seeing that, and I'm like, that's cool, I guess. I don't really need to see it again in a theater setting.
I don't need to see it either.
3 hours long.
It's way too long.
Yeah. It's not that.
Also, it's not like a bad long, but it's just like if I want to watch it again, I'm gonna watch it at home.
Yeah, like I think I remember like when we reviewed it for the podcast, like I seem to recall mentioning that like despite being 3 hours long, it does not feel like 3 hours long. It feels way shorter, which is always nice when you're watching a long movie like that. If it doesn't feel long, you've done something right.
I also don't really feel like it's especially for 3.1 plus 3.1 plus 1.0 is that the full
3.0?
I'm gonna call it
I'm
gonna call it Thrice Upon a Time.
That works too.
Because I hate that, or Evangelion 4, whatever.
But it's not 4.
I don't
it's 3
really
plus 1.
Shut the fuck up. I don't feel like it's really a movie I don't feel like it really demands to be seen in a movie theater.
No,
because it's not as much. It's not as much of a spectacle movie as like the other ones.
I don't know. I mean that whole like that whole climax is pretty heavy on the spectacle, I feel.
No, but that's it though. That's
Mm,
all the spectacle there is in the whole movie.
I guess. I don't know.
Like
It's I,
for
I
the
it's been a while
majority.
since we've seen it, so I can't really remember.
Well, I remember distinctly that that like the first two acts are mainly character stuff,
Fair enough.
whereas
Fair enough.
like in 1.0, 2.0 and 3.0,
Yeah.
it's a lot of like you have action set
Mm.
pieces kind of just throughout the whole thing, but then the last one is very much character driven until the end.
All right. Fair enough. I'll. That sounds right, at least.
Yeah, and then of course, you get the very unsettling big head Ray again. Ugh, disgusting.
It's not your favorite thing in the entire world, Brian. It's not your favorite scene in the whole
What were
entire
they
movie.
thinking? They decided to not have beautiful animation and instead just had some random woman come in and do face cap.
No, I
God,
think that's your favorite scene in the whole entire movie, Brian. I'm
it was
calling it.
so it was so unsettling.
All right. Um, one other thing that I wanted to mention again, it's sort of news, but at the same time, it's like it's not really that important. For any of you fans of Red Man, the Kaiju Hunter, the excellent graphic novel from Matt Frank, which adapts the original Red Man series, Tsuburaya Productions has started uploading a few select episodes of the Red Man series to their YouTube channel. I don't know why they're not uploading all of them, but I guess it's neat. And I think they even said it's going to be a limited time thing anyways. So like what's the point? Why not just put the whole series up? I don't know.
Capitalism.
What are you doing, Super? I don't know. I watched the first episode because they put up so far they've uploaded like episode 1 and episode 7. So go check it out, I guess. I would prefer it if it was
Well,
the whole series, but
I guess it's to like it's like to avoid the Netflix problem where if you drop everything all at once, then you just don't have anything going on.
Well, but here's the thing though. Like they have no plans to upload the whole series. They're only doing this small
Oh.
handful of episodes.
Oh, I thought you were saying that they're just Oh, never
No,
mind.
yeah,
I
exactly.
misunderstood you.
Yeah, no,
That's
it's
dumb. That's
stupid.
actually
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So
I don't know. Maybe they're releasing a couple and then they'll have like maybe they're gauging interest. I don't know.
But then why wouldn't you just do it like chronologically?
Oh,
Why are they going episode 1, episode 7, episode 63, so on and so forth? It's
okay,
stupid.
I'm wrong.
It's stupid.
I'm wrong. I
Tsuburaya
made a big
Productions-
oopsie. I just I decided to play devil's advocate. It didn't work out for me.
Tsuburaya Productions, hire me to be your marketing guy for international stuff. I know what the fuck I'm doing. I have a podcast, all right? That's
so sad.
That's the final word on
That's
it.
such a sad flex.
No,
I have a podcast.
Don't you know who I am? I host Talking Toku, okay? One of these days I'm going to be able to do that.
Yeah, maybe.
Not today. All right.
Definitely, probably not soon.
Yeah, no, probably not. But I think that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. Unless you have anything to mention before we get into Spook Warfare.
I mean, it's related in giant monsters only, but the Dead Space remake looks pretty awesome.
This is true.
That's all I got.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well,
I'm also mentioning that because it's spooky.
This is true. It is.
So.
It is. It's like I said. It's the spooks are in the air.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Let's actually go to the topic at hand.
Spook Warfare.
The best movie ever made.
or if you want to get really pedantic about it, Yokai Monsters Spook Warfare. But you know what? When I watched the movie, all the title cards said, at least in the subtitles, was just Spook Warfare. And I thought I preferred just that title. So you know what? Screw you. That's what I'm going to call it.
I was actually because I remember last year we watched 100 Monsters.
Hmm.
It was they had the Yokai
Yes.
Monsters like at like before it,
Hmm.
and I remember that. But watching this on Shutter, it only like even on Shutter it just says Spook Warfare. It does not
Hmm.
say anywhere.
Interesting.
Uh, so I was like, what was the subtitle before? Or what was the like the main like what was it? Because I kept trying to figure it out, so I had to like look it up after the
Yeah,
movie was over. Um, but this movie was great.
it really was.
I had a
Like
good time.
I I seem to recall when we watched 100 Monsters, like it was good, but it wasn't like anything like life changing or whatever, you
I
know?
think I dug it definitely a lot more than you did because I remember when we were talking about it, I was much more into it.
Hmm.
Like you liked it, but I fell in love with how goofy it was.
Right.
Um, this movie took everything glowing I had to say about 100 Monsters and just kicked it to 11.
Yeah, this is definitely aimed at probably a younger audience, I think, and
Yeah, no,
it's all
I
the
mean,
better for it. It's a
but
lot more lighthearted.
it was still kind of gruesome in
Yeah,
some spots, though.
despite being like significantly more lighthearted, there are some like very dark scenes, and most of that's with the our main villain Daimon, who is a Babylonian demon reawakened
Yep,
by archaeologists, which is
yep.
fucking cool. But yeah, he's going around. His whole plot, I believe, is to like kind of take over. At least at the start, I assume he wanted to kind of spread out, but he starts in Japan. You know, take over leadership and kind of abolish all other gods and demons and stuff like that, so he can be, you know, the whole Highlander situation. Like there can only be one, basically. And he the way he goes about like taking out, you know, the leadership is that he's a vampire essentially. He kind of sucks their blood, and it's kind of unclear exactly what happens, but he essentially takes over their bodies, and it is rather gruesome. Like there's a surprising amount of
Uh,
blood in the film.
so from like when I was watching it, it's not so much that he takes over their body. He just like kills people, and then he like he doesn't like inhabit their body like a possession.
Yeah.
He like he just like shapeshifts into them
Hmm.
essentially. So he like wears their he basically
He's a
just turns
skinwalker.
into them. Yeah, kind of like that. And like you can kind of tell that it's him because like the character's eyes are like darkened and also they start acting like an asshole.
Yeah, they like
Uh,
they even like change their like physique almost, like just the way they carry themselves physically, which is a really great touch actually on the actors' parts.
I did really like it where at the beginning of the movie the like the head guy that he kills, I forgot his name. Uh, he like I guess the lord of
The
of wherever
magistrate,
they're
yeah.
at, the magistrate. He kills this guy and then he just like inhabits his persona, his look. Comes back and he's just being creepy as fuck. He's just standing
Yeah.
around staring at the characters. They're like, "Are you okay?" And he's just standing there and then he starts yelling at them and
Yeah.
berating them about shit. It's
Yeah, 'cause
like, yeah, I'd be concerned.
yeah, I feel like people are. I mean, obviously, some of them are concerned, but they seem to like they seem kind of like whatever about it. They're like, oh, that's kind of weird. Okay, whatever. I'll go on about my duties, except for like the main characters, obviously, like you know,
Like the family
yeah, like
members.
Lady Chie and Shinpachiro. But like everyone else is
Yeah.
just kind of like, whatever. It's not my problem. Which
I
I feel
kind of
like
attributed that. Go ahead.
I lost my train of thought. What were you saying?
Oh, I kind of attribute I kind of like in my head I kind of figured that like because like Japanese culture, especially back in I don't remember what era this would be, but
Mm-hmm.
like their power structure is very rigid, and so
That's
like you
fair.
have to respect people even if you can't question, like questioning authority is like a big no-no.
That's true.
Uh,
Yeah.
and so like I figured that like maybe people are just going along with it because they're like, well, if I say anything, I'm probably gonna get my head cut off or something.
Fair enough.
Like so that's what I figured because like I was watching this with our number one fan Sam, and she was like, "Why are people not like why are people not questioning why he's acting like a madman all of a sudden?" And I'm just like, I don't know. It's probably because like he's the head dude and he's a guy, and like you can't question your authority figures back then. You know, that was my opinion on it. Uh, but uh, yeah, so I mean, basically the whole movie is just him trying to climb, the ladder by just impersonating people and getting more powerful. Even though he's so OP anyways that he could just take it all by force.
Yeah, honestly. Because like
Um,
he even like right at the beginning of the film, like the weather is changing just due to his presence. Like he could
oh,
easily.
that's what I wanted to mention. Like my first, like the first, uh, like like the first couple scenes of the movie where he gets resurrected and he kind of just starts flying around in the air.
Mhm.
I like out loud said this is so fucking rad. And then like they had the scene where he's like flying across the ocean and he literally capsizes a boat by
Yeah,
flying over it. And I'm just like, this dude is like a fucking crazy god, dude. This is
yeah. He there
hilarious.
was no need for him to like go about this whole plot. But I mean, hey, I mean, if we weren't to go about the plot, we wouldn't have a goddamn movie. So I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
But
Um, did we want to just say like a quick kind of summary of the plot? Like it's not really that complex.
yeah, yeah, sure. I
Um,
mean, we covered that. Daimon's out and about. He's doing his thing. But what really kicks off the plot is that um, at I guess their house, I guess.
I
Um,
call it like a complex or
yeah,
like
there just
you
happens
know,
to be a kappa living in the pond next door, and something like
my boy.
yeah. So Isobe, who's the Lord Magistrate, he like throws something into the pond and like kind of disturbs the kappa, and the kappa comes out and is like, "What the fuck is going on out here?" And he realizes, oh, there's a demon impersonating the magistrate. That's not good. Let me go talk to the other yokai, and we'll figure this thing out.
Well, no,
Um,
he tries to fight. He tries to fight him
right, he
first.
does, and he gets his ass kicked.
He gets his ass kicked. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
He just runs away.
Yeah. And honestly, like Kappa is kind of like the star of the show. Like he's
Yeah.
very much a lovable goof. He fits that kind of archetype, which is great. He's definitely a
I
highlight of the
uh
film.
I really liked his like his I guess his face, his mask.
Mm.
I thought it was
Yeah,
awesome.
no, the suit was really good. Like those the fact that the eyes were able to move around like that, like just to make it really more expressive. That was a really good effect, I think.
That was one of the first things I noticed was how like how much work it probably took to get those eyes to
Yeah.
move.
And honestly,
Like and it's still looking as like kind of sleek as it does.
yeah. I'll say this much though. I kind of feel bad for. Can I find the yeah, Gen Kuroki, who played the Kappa, cuz like you could definitely tell at some points that like they just painted his skin green for like most
Oh,
of
I,
it.
I saw.
And like it's like
I saw.
wearing off at certain points, and it's like, oh man, that must have sucked for him to be doing that. But
Well, they probably had to have him come back and like reapply a bunch of the
oh,
makeup and stuff. It must
absolutely.
have gotten very obnoxious.
Especially because considering he's like in and out of the water all the time because he's a kappa. So that, yeah, that must
Yeah.
have not been fun for him. But you know, but yeah, he goes to the other yokai and he's like, "Hey." there's this big demon. We should do something about that. And all the yokai are like, man, I don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing in this handy dandy literal Pokedex of yokai. There's nothing about
Oh
this
yeah, that's
dude
right.
in
They
here.
they hand him like yokai for dummies, essentially.
Yeah, and,
They just hand it to
you
him.
know, now that I think about it, why do the yokai themselves have a book about themselves?
Comedy.
Comedy, okay, fair enough. I mean, to me, it seems it seems a little self-centered, but that's just me.
I mean, humans write history books about themselves.
This is true. This is true. But this is more like a guidebook than a history book.
Who knows? Maybe they just want to be more understood.
All right, fair enough. But yes, they're
They gotta
like
write down all their rules somewhere.
that's true. That's true. Yeah. But yeah, so they're like, yeah, there's nothing in this book about this dude. I don't believe you. You're stupid. Go fuck yourself.
And then some kids come by and say literally exactly the same thing,
Yeah.
and they believe the kids,
And they're
like
like,
real
"Shit,
kids,
alright."
not yokai kids,
Yeah,
like
there's
real
human
kids.
children who are never
With
seen in the
protection
movie
charm.
again, by the way.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like I was fully under the impression that they were because they're the ones who like first made contact with the yokai, or at least for our human characters, and then they after telling the yokai about Daimon, they're just never seen again. Like I was really assuming that they were gonna be, especially considering the movie feels more like it was made for a younger audience. Something like Wrath of Daimajin from the same production studio from Daiei. Like it's more lighthearted and has those the characters in that film are children. I would have thought they would have played a bigger part, but that's just not the case. They just kind of they like I can't remember what happens to them. Like they just like
I think
hide from Daimon's
I think
forces
they
and they
just
just
hide.
disappear, and they're never seen
Because
again.
I'm pretty sure that the reason they were running away was because if they like got captured, they'd either be like killed or forced to work.
Yeah,
Uh, which I mean, you kind of see other characters going through that when they like try to infiltrate the complex.
hmm
In the scene immediately after, like they kind of sneak in and scare the shit out of those two guards.
yeah. That's it. That felt like a very
Uh,
like Three Stooges kind of moment.
yeah,
I suppose.
the main demons that are, or not demons, the main yokai that are doing the bamboozling there are the two-faced or the two-mouthed woman
Yeah,
and the umbrella monster.
yeah.
And I
Returning
think
from
both of them.
from the last film.
Actually, there are a lot of yokai that are just straight up from
Yeah.
100 Monsters.
Mhm.
They're very either exactly the same or very similar.
Yeah, I mean the Rokuro Kubi, which is the long necked woman, that's done a lot differently in this film because I feel because 100 Monsters is definitely feels more horror tinged than this film. This is more like a
Yep.
kind of a fantasy film, but so like the scene with her is not as scary as it is in 100 Monsters, but the Kasa Obake, the umbrella demon, like that's pretty much used exactly the same way as it was in 100 Monsters. But the Futakuchi Onna, which is the two-faced woman, like that was a really funny scene where like the guy looks under the thing and he's like, "Oh, this is terrifying," and the other guy looks down. He's like, "What are you talking about? She's hot as fuck. What are you talking about? She's ugly." And the other guy's like, "What are you talking about? She's beautiful." And they just kind of go on this really funny back and forth. Like, it honestly kind of like went on for longer than I was expecting, and I was just like, "How long can they keep this going?" Because I could watch another like minute or two of this before I feel like it would get old. But like they cut it off right when it was starting to right when it was starting to feel like it was wearing out its welcome. But like it was just a really well paced and funny scene. Um, yeah.
I also really liked. I don't remember if it's the same scene just before that, but like there's like the two. Were they also the guards where like one of
I
them was like rubbing like meat on their
Yeah,
face, like the
I'm
other
not
dude's
sure.
face?
I think it was the same guards, but it was hard to tell. It was never made clear.
Yeah, there's just a couple moments in the movie that's like that where it's just kind of funny, where they're
Yeah.
just being people are just being dickheads.
Hmm.
Um, but I what I wanted to say was the two-faced woman or the two-mouthed woman, the mask on the back of her head, it's so weird because sometimes like if the camera's not focusing on it, it looks kind of goofy.
Hmm.
But sometimes when it is being focused on, it looks really fucking good, like really
Yeah.
creepy. Like in the scene that we were just talking about where the guards are like kind of looking in this car comes in, uh, like when it like when it focuses on the ugly face, it like one eye blinks and it's so creepy. It's like
Yeah.
image is like stuck in my head. It's so creepy. Um. Anyways, oh, man, what happens after that? So they like infiltrate the compound because they're like we want to beat up this dickhead demon guy because he's rolling up on our territory and they basically they all get their ass beat
Yeah.
pretty badly. Because like at the same time you have the human actual main character. He's also trying to kill this demon.
Yeah.
Because like
Shinpachiro.
his like monk uncle is like, you got a demon. Take these candles.
And if not, use this
And this
very small bow.
yeah, take
It
these
was like a
candles and this
child-sized bow that he gives to a full-grown man.
yeah, and then they get into a fight in the courtyard after another fight goes down,
Hmm.
and basically the main dude shoot like of course the candles they don't work because they're just candles,
Right.
and he shoots the daemon in the eyeball, and that's his weakness, and then through some hijinks, apparently all the other yokai get trapped in like a vase because of a protection charm. Uh, and then they're just stuck in there. And then, yeah,
Well,
I don't know. You take
I think
over.
what happens is Shinpachiro is trying to trap Daimon in the jar, but like
Yeah. Then he
Daimon,
like flicks it away out of the air.
yeah, and our good yokai find like the ward that he was going to use to seal Daimon in the jar, and they get sucked in accidentally, and they're like, well, shit.
Yeah. No. The charm thing that he was going to use, like it gets flicked out of the air and it lands on the Kappa's head.
Yeah.
And then they all touch it trying to get it off, but then they all get sucked into the jar.
Hmm.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I really like that effect too.
Yeah, it was a neat
Pretty
effect for
cool.
sure.
Yeah, it's just a jar with a bunch of stinky looking mist coming out of it.
Yeah. Looks like it's like sulfur
Pretty,
gas or something.
yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Uh, and so like I guess like the main bad dude Daimon, he like moves to another body.
Mm-hmm. Because at this point,
Uh,
like the Shinpachiro and Chie, they both know that Daimon is is um
is there?
is Isobu, and he's like, well,
Yep.
gotta find a new host. So yeah, he goes to the
Yep.
new Lord Magistrate because at this point everyone knows that that Isobe is it Isoba or what is that? Okay, it is Isobe. Isobe is dead. Everyone knows Isobe is dead, so they send off a new magistrate for the place, and he's like, "All right, this guy'll do."
After that, basically because all the other yokai are stuck in this fucking jar, they're just like, all right, we're gonna figure out how to get the other yokai that are not trapped in here to remove the charm. But oh no, the yokai can't touch the charm because then they'll be sucked in. So they have to get Chie to move it, I guess, or the other dude. I don't actually remember who removes the thing.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
it's one of the two.
it has to be a human character, or else they'll get
Yeah,
sucked into the jar.
I was see,
And then
this is
they,
where I thought the kids were gonna come back into play. It
dude,
seemed
same. I
it
actually
seemed
thought
like
they
the
were gonna go get
perfect
the
place
kids.
for them to bring him back in, but no, they did not.
Mm-mm. Nope. Yeah, so they get let out, and then they're all like, "All right, we're gonna try again. We're gonna go all over Japan and get our best friends, and we're gonna come back and have a
Hmm.
gigantic battle
Yes, they they
because, of
they
course."
bring in a whole fucking army of yokai, hence the
Yep.
title Spook Warfare, to kind of
Yep.
do this whole final battle with Daimon, who at this point has become the size of a kaiju, like an
Well,
actual
he
full-on
he t-
kaiju.
he becomes big when later when they during the fight
Hmm.
there's a bunch of Daimon like doubles, so
Yeah,
he
yeah,
makes a bunch of like multiples of himself, and then when they figure out which one is which, uh they they start to gang up on him, and then he turns big.
right.
And I remember watching the movie, and he got big. I out loud yelled, "Oh my god, he's big now!" which
You didn't
is
say he went
which
big
is
mode.
really. I did not say he went big mode. I said
Damn,
he's big now.
missed
uh,
opportunity.
I know, honestly. And basically the yokai they stab him in the eye. They win because he's gone.
It was funny.
Actually, it's kind of ambiguous. Does he like die or does he just leave?
I think he dies. Like I want to say he like dies.
But they keep saying that he's like that Daimon is like immortal.
I don't know. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, this is a one-off film, so I don't really know how it happens. Though I do know, Takashi Miike, who is a very well-known director, um, even internationally. I mean, he's done stuff like Audition, Each of the Killer, One Missed Call, stuff like that. He did a remake. He actually remade this film back in 2006 with the title The Great Yokai War, which also, and we've talked about this on the show actually, that got a sequel last year. I think he also directed it. Let me just double check. Yeah, it got a sequel last year, The Great Yokai War Guardians, and that actually had Daimajin in a cameo at the end. So I don't know how connected that is to that film, because I have not seen The Great Yokai War yet. We'll cover it at some point, probably, but
It's on
I don't.
Shutter, isn't it?
I think yeah, because they put all from that box set that Arrow did on there, and that was yeah, they had the trilogy, and then also the Great Yokai War. But Guardians just came out last year, so I don't know when we're gonna see that here in the States anytime soon.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'd be interested to watch them both back to back, just to see if Guardians has Daimon as its antagonist. I don't even know if the Yokai War, like the first film, has Daimon as its antagonist. I'm actually gonna go take a look. Um,
I don't know. I mean, the only reason I ask is it's kind of ambiguous
yeah.
because like you have a couple characters say like, "Oh, he's trying to get away again," and then it doesn't really go anywhere, and then they're all just like, "Oh, we won now. Hopefully, he doesn't come back."
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Spook Warfare doesn't have like its own sequel. I mean, there is another film in the trilogy, but along with Ghost is they're a trilogy just because they're about yokai. Like there's nothing narratively connecting them, so I don't think it
Yeah,
really matters.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's fine either way.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the effects and the suits and the monsters and all the spooky stuff?
I was gonna ask you, Brian, what was your favorite yokai from this film?
My favorite yokai was probably the long neck woman.
Okay.
And that's just because she was also my favorite in 100 Monsters.
All right.
I don't know what it is. I just find her unsettling, and that makes me like her.
All right. Fair
Like she's
enough.
just
I will.
creepy. She's creepy. I like her like low kind of droning voice that she has.
Yeah.
Um, I just think it's awesome. I think a close second would be a close second would probably be one of the other demons that or yokai that shows up where they use his stomach as like a fortune teller
Oh
thing.
yeah, he's got like a TV kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't remember what that was, but I just
I
found
can't
it
remember
so
his name
fucking
either. But yeah, he
goofy.
was cool.
It was so goofy.
I
Um,
I really liked the Kappa,
yep. Oh, Kappa
and
was good, yeah.
and I I really like Nopepo, who's who so actual folklore says he's like like a blob of clay, but all I was seeing when I watched the movie, he just looks like a fucking nutsack, man. He just looks like a nutsack. I'll say it. You know who I'm talking about, though, right? You know exactly who I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking
Yeah. So
about.
I really liked him. He he was a funny little dude.
On Wikipedia, it says the new Nopepo is a foul-smelling, genderless mass of flesh with an outline of a face,
Very
creased into
nice.
the folds of its fatty exterior.
Very
Des-
nice.
Despite smelling of decaying fish, Nopepo is entirely harmless. It is said that should a person consume the flesh of Nopepo, they will achieve eternal life.
Well, that's a damn good deal if I ever heard one.
So he's a good ball sack.
He's a, he's a good ball sack.
A good ball sack.
Yeah.
You'd call him a benevolent ball sack.
Brian, that's gonna be our band name, the Benevolent Ball Sacks.
It is a. It's definitely a band name. It would fit.
Yeah.
Um, I yeah. I mean, of course, I have to give a shout out to the Casa Abake or what,
Oh
however you say
yeah,
it. The
the
my
umbrella.
favorite from 100 Monsters was the
Hmm.
Umbrella Monster, and he is just as good here.
It was actually funny
Uh,
because like I was watching this with some friends because we have our weekly movie nights and we were determining what to watch for this week. And as I don't know, I think I mentioned it last week on the last episode. I have a whole list of films I'm watching for October, one per day, and and I was going in order and looking at the ones I had coming up for this week. I was like, well, you guys have both seen, everyone else but me has seen this one. This is a sequel to something else. I've already watched these three. So I suggested Spook Warfare, and so I watched it with some friends. And I was during the final battle. I like said out. I thought out loud like, what is the umbrella thing gonna do during this final battle? 'Cause what can it physically do? But I said that pretty much right at the same right as it brought the Aburo Sumashi, it like floated it up in towards Daimon's face so it can stab him in the eye. I'm like, oh, that was some good timing. I brought that about. So I was very happy to see the Casa Obake actually partake in the final battle because I really didn't think it was going to be able to do anything helpful.
I just like to picture that for the entire fight leading up to that, he was just kind of chilling, just hopping around.
Yeah, just kind of like psyching himself up.
Yeah, just kind of not doing anything, just kind of just waiting for his cue.
Yeah, waiting for his time to shine.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to mention was I was kind of surprised at how good the effects in this movie were,
Hmm.
like how good they were. Like even just the yokai kind of just like disappearing and then reappearing somewhere
Yeah,
else. It was like so seamless. I just didn't even it didn't even register in my head.
yeah.
It
I
was
mean,
so it was so good.
it's very much the same. I mean, the effects are very much comparable to those of 100 Monsters because they obviously reuse a lot of the suits and props from that film. But
Yeah.
yeah, stuff like that looked really good. And one of the things that like really took me by surprise was how fucking well the movie was shot and directed.
Oh yeah.
Like it is
Yeah.
insane how good the film looks just from a cinematography standpoint and like editing. It's just it was really well shot for a film that's like, you know, I don't want to. This is, I'm can't really think of a better way to put this, but like for a film that feels more like it's for, for a younger audience, the fact that it was shot so well and like actually, and despite it not really being a horror movie, it even felt like it was shot like a horror movie. I want to
Yeah.
see more stuff like that. Do something, here in the States, as like a Hollywood production. Shoot something a little more kid friendly, but shoot it like an actual horror film. I think that's like, I don't know why we haven't seen that more already. I mean, this movie came out in 1968. We're way behind, man. We got to catch up.
I completely agree. Yeah, no, when I was watching this, I was saying to myself, like, this isn't a horror movie. This is like the definition of like kind of like just spooky. It's not scary.
Yeah, and
it's just like
that's the thing.
Creepy,
Yeah. A couple days ago, maybe like a week ago, in the Kaiju United Discord, which you can all join, if you so choose, I highly recommend. You can chat with me and not Brian, because he only ever lurks in there until I ping him.
Yep. Yep.
We were talking about in the horror movies channel, because it's October, everyone's watching horror movies and stuff for October and Halloween. We were actually talking about this, that something like, I don't know, something like Friday the 13th. It's not really a Halloween movie. It's a horror movie, yes, but it's not really a Halloween movie. And we had this whole back and forth discussion about like, Halloween movies. There's a specific vibe to them, like a specific feel. And something like Friday the 13th doesn't really fit that vibe. It's more of a what's a good word for it? It's more it's too gritty to feel Halloween-ish. Like Halloween, it's supposed to be scary, but it's supposed to be fun as well. And yeah, Friday the 13th's fun, but it's not the kind of fun you want for Halloween, I guess.
I like to use the word hokey.
That's a good word for it, yeah. And Spook Warfare, and even 100 Monsters too. Like those two films, and I'm assuming along with Ghosts as well, those really, really embody that like Halloween spirit. And I think like just this whole trilogy is just going to be great Halloween viewing for anyone looking for something interesting.
I think like the more I was thinking about this, like, between like horror movies and like spooky, like, basically what you were just talking about, I figure like the closer stuff gets to being like more like folktale-ish, the more Halloween like it feels.
Yeah, because obviously Halloween was that's kind of like where that tradition started. Like it started as a folk tradition, so it's very ingrained in that.
Yeah, like on the point about Friday the 13th, like, or even like a movie like, like the Saw movies or something like that. Like people will watch those for Halloween because you could classify them as scary.
Yeah.
I don't find them scary personally, but like they're mainly like, honestly, I would attribute them to be more like summer movies, honestly, for some reason.
Okay.
Especially Friday the 13th because it's a summer camp.
Yeah, it's a summer camp.
I feel like you can watch horror movies outside of Halloween.
Oh, absolutely you can.
Especially because a lot of horror movies work better if you watch them, during a time that's fitting. So like if you watch a movie about murders at a summer camp in the summer, watching it in the summer would make more sense because it's a more relatable setting because that's the one you're in.
Exactly. That's why people watch Jaws in the summer all the time, because it takes place on July 4th. But
yeah, because like Jaws is a horror movie, or you could call it horror adjacent, but it's still like a summer blockbuster.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it was the summer blockbuster. It was the first one.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like in my October viewing for this year, like I've had a bunch of like stuff that doesn't necessarily fit the Halloween vibe. Like just earlier today, I watched Graduation Day, which is a kind of really super low budget slasher from Troma, and that doesn't really. I mean, I feel like most slashers, like aside obviously from Halloween itself, don't really fit the the Halloween vibe. At least the earlier ones. I mean, obviously a lot of slashers later on they get a little more hokey. You know, something like Jason Lives or Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Those start to get a little more goofy and they start to fit a little more. But like earlier slashers, like they don't really have that vibe. But I'm still fully in support of watching something like this where it's not really a horror movie, but it really fits the Halloween vibe. That's why I'm really looking forward to something like Wendell and Wild, which it comes out on Netflix in a couple weeks. It's the new movie from Henry Selick, who directed A Nightmare Before Christmas and Coraline. It's got like Key and Peele as the titular characters. They're like kind of ghosts or demons. I think they're demons, but yeah, that like that. So that this whole roundabout rambly digression, like these movies, especially Spook Warfare so far, I think more so than Hunter Monsters, I feel, it really embodies the Halloween spirit. I think for that, you know, kind of spooky, but also really fun kind of spooky, you know,
hokey,
yeah.
To me, I definitely think it's mainly because of like the vibe of the movie, but also because it deals with, you know, folklore. Because Halloween to me is always about like folklore and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Like cool, like, you know, stuff people used to tell them, you know, tell other people around campfires, you know, all the way back. You know, paganism and shit.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
I mean, that's all I really have to say about it. It's just a damn good time. You know, it's just a really fun watch. It's a very brisk watch too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not
it's on
long.
It's on Shudder, so it's really accessible.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if
get a free week,
if you're ever gonna get a subscription to Shudder, now's the time. We're in October, man.
Yeah. And if you, I mean, like everyone has access to the 1 week trial, but you can probably get even more out of it.
A couple years ago, when I first started doing like one horror movie a day for October, I fucking lived off Shudder free trials. I used my one email, I used my school email, I used my girlfriend's one email, I used my girlfriend's school email. I got 4 free weeks out of Shudder. I mean, now I'm paying for a full subscription, obviously, because they're a great streaming service. But that's how I did it. I really lived off of free trials for Shudder. It's very easy.
That's some real college student energy right there.
I know, it was great. But yeah, no, I mean, we've sung Shudder's praises on this show multiple times, and it probably will not be the last time that we do it on here. For sure.
Probably not, especially now that I actually have the subscription service.
Yeah,
I actually use it.
This is totally unrelated, but I really want to watch Dark Glasses, which is Dario Argento's new film that just dropped, I think, like 2 days ago.
He's still alive?
He is still alive. I think it's like his first film he directed since like the 2010s or something.
He's 82 years old? Holy shit.
Yeah, no, and he's still doing the spookies. So
I still need to watch the like the Suspiria, I guess, sequel movies. I know you said that the one you watched was only okay, but I still want to watch them.
Yeah, no. Which one was that? Was that? Oh, it was Inferno. Yeah, Inferno's only okay, but
I heard the other one was better than Inferno.
I don't remember which one that is, but I'll take your word for it.
I don't know. I'll let you know if I watch
it. It's the first movie he's done in 10 years. Is Dark Glasses. So I'm excited for that, and of course, I think this weekend is the latest of the Joe Bob's at the Last Drive-In Halloween specials. I don't know what movies he's covering, but it'll be fun, and yeah. Honestly, just buy Shudder. Hey, Shudder, you should like sponsor us or something. We're giving you all this free press.
They're probably more likely to than most.
Yeah, honestly. Wouldn't touch with them.
Yeah. Anyways, I think we should move on.
I think we should
Unless you
move
have
on
any
too.
closing thoughts.
Spook Warfare, really good. Honestly, I was really taken aback by how delightful the film is. Like it might, everyone always has their traditions. Either whether they're watching Halloween, every October, or like my sister, she'll watch like all the like kind of Disney Halloween stuff, like Halloween Town, Twitches, stuff like that. Honestly, Spook Warfare might end up becoming that for me, just because of how delightful the film is.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, it does. It's kind of sad that we don't get movies that are just kind of just like good fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like they always like there's always it always feels like there's got to be more like sequels or there's got to be deeper meaning to movies. But this movie is just good dumb fun.
Mm-hmm.
Not really dumb, more just good fun. Just hokey, goofy, like no stakes. It's just a good time,
No.
you know. I had an absolutely fantastic time watching it. Um, so yeah, I can't wait to watch the next one.
Yeah. Which, well, we'll get back to you in a year about that one, folks.
I'll probably watch it this October, but I'll definitely be down to talk about it next year if it's
Yeah, and I
good.
mean, at this point, we've done 2 of them a year per year for our Halloween special. So we may as well just say yes. Next year, we're going to be covering Along with Ghosts for Halloween. So look forward to that.
Look forward to that if you are still here in a year.
Still around.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to
move
the
on.
last part of the show here.
Yeah. Our what new cool kaiju thing are you checking out right now, Brian? What new cool kaiju thing are you checking out right now?
Well, not much considering it's October.
Mm-hmm.
Still got to work through the Gamera movies. You and I are still watching Decker, which we're going to be watching the next episode of tonight.
Yep, right after we finish up this, we'll be watching the latest episode, which I hear is like one of the best episodes of the series so far.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
I mean, like, nothing like, I mean, I watched the new Hellraiser, which is not kaiju related, but there is a giant thing in it.
A giant
that
thing.
You could,
I feel like a giant
that you
thing.
could maybe count as living.
Yeah.
If you want. That movie was pretty awesome. I don't know if you saw it.
No, not yet.
No.
I'll get around
but
to
yeah,
eventually.
other than that, I've just been watching a lot of horror movies.
Yeah. October, it doesn't really fit in with most kaiju films, and all of them would fit. I've kind of already seen multiple times. So
actually I mean it's not new because I've seen them all before, but I may watch the Dimension movies because they probably fit more than others.
I would say so, yeah.
I at least want to watch the third movie because I have seen the first 2 way more than I've seen the third movie. So
yeah, no, Wrath of the Dimensions, good stuff, man.
The thing is that with the Dimension movies, like I always try and watch them back to back, and I just get tired after the second one. So I should probably stop doing that.
Yeah, probably. But
I should probably just go straight for the third one and actually just watch it.
Yeah, I haven't really been checking out a whole lot myself either. Let me just kind of think. I feel like I read a comic recently.
Resident Evil show.
Shut the fuck up. I don't want to think about that right now. I feel like I read a comic recently. I don't remember what the hell it was. It was a what the hell did I read? Oh, I was reading the Marvel Ultraman comics because I kind of fell off of them in the middle of the second miniseries, The Trials of Ultraman. And I know they just recently started up the third miniseries, which is The Mysteries of Ultra 7. So I'm like, oh, I should probably finish up, finally get around to finishing The Trials of Ultraman. And they're really cool, really neat. I wish they were a little, maybe not longer. I just wish there wasn't so much time in between miniseries. or rather, I wish they would just have it as one long ongoing series rather than multiple connected miniseries. I don't really understand that all that much, considering it's pretty much the same creative team throughout each series. I don't really understand the need for that. But yeah, the Marvel Ultraman stuff's real good. And I think Volume 2 of IDW's Godzilla Monsters and Protectors just started up again recently, which I think I mentioned briefly in this segment a while ago on the show, which I really liked that series. So I think they started, it's the second one started up, which will be cool. I'll check that out soon. That's kind of all. That's pretty much it.
Wow. Very nice.
No, I mean I can't think of anything else. Because again, it's October. Horror is kind of like the main focus for this month. So my consumption of kaiju media, of tokusatsu media, kind of falls during this month.
Yeah, honestly, same. I feel like it was like that last year too.
Yeah, same here. I don't remember.
Because it's like what we were talking about. Stuff just doesn't fit.
Yeah, exactly. There's very few
It's
things.
it doesn't fit the Halloween vibe, man.
Yeah. I mean, the original Godzilla's a horror movie, but that's like a depressing horror movie. I don't want to watch that for Halloween.
That's an anti-war movie. You want to watch that in like June.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or I don't know. August.
Yeah. It's nice. It's not the kind of movie you want to get like a nice hot mug of apple cider and get in a nice comfy blanket and watch. It's not a cozy movie.
Yeah, you're just going to be bummed out.
I mean, granted, neither are some of the other movies I've been watching. I mean, you mentioned Saw earlier. I watched Saw 4 this month. I fucking hated it. That's not really a
I'm so sorry for you.
Oh, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Last year, I watched Saw 3, and it was legitimate. I'm not exaggerating here. I honestly found Saw 3 to be one of the most miserable cinematic experiences of my life. I don't think I've disliked a movie more than Saw 3. So you might be asking, why did you watch Saw 4? And to that I say, I'm in too deep at this point. I've watched the last 3 for October in each past year, so I may as well just continue at this point.
It's a fucking soap opera, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this much: Saw 4 still pretty terrible, not as miserable as Saw 3. So that's something.
Once you get to the bigger numbers, it gets better.
Does it though? Does it really?
In ridiculousness, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I'll take that. But yeah, okay, we're kind of rambling at this point, but that's how this show always goes, isn't it?
Oh, you know what? They're gonna throw in the last one. Definitely, you can maybe count it as a kaiju movie. The Resident Evil movies, the bad ones.
Shut up, Ryan. Stop making me think about Resident Evil right now. I don't want to think about it.
I watched 2 yesterday.
Oh, good. You're getting on top of things. Very nice.
God, Nemesis is fucking hilarious.
He is. He's the highlight of that movie, though.
He looks like a Power Ranger enemy.
He kind of does.
He really does. It's so goofy.
Oh god.
All right, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Hey, it's a short episode.
I think we're done.
Been a while since we've had one of those, huh?
Yeah, well, we got to make up for how long the last one was.
I know the last one was over 2 hours, and we very rarely have an over 2 hour episode. So yeah. Bro, what do you want to talk about next week? Well, not next week, but in 2 weeks.
I don't know. I think we'll have to talk about it.
Okay, cool.
If you have any suggestions, let us know on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and what else?
YouTube. I'm still in the process of getting episodes up. I believe the first 10 are still up right now. I hope by the end of the week, there should be a couple more. I don't remember how many more because I'm not the one making the video files. I have interns doing it. Not my interns. I don't have enough money to hire interns. But there are people here at this beautiful station we call MMTV who are doing that for me. And I don't know what they are up to in terms of making video files for the episodes, but I will check tomorrow as of recording when I go in to edit this episode. Point is, there will be more episodes on YouTube shortly. I don't know. It's just a matter of how many. And once again, Kaiju United Discord and Facebook group, and I believe they are also now on Twitter and Instagram at Kaiju United. There's a reason I'm plugging Kaiju United. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm just going to say there is a reason for it. But yeah, go check
I think
it.
I know it.
You do know it because I told you about it, Brian.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
I remember.
Good. You remember,
I know.
You remember. Brian remembers things I tell him. Everyone, give him a round of applause. Everyone, good job, Brian.
It doesn't. Me remembering it doesn't happen very often,
I
but when
know.
it does, yeah.
But yeah. Again, check out Kaiju United. It's a great little place. The whole point is that we're very inclusive about fans. No gatekeeping. No racism, transphobia, homophobia. You name it. Get out of here. Fuck all that shit. We don't want any of it. But yeah, join Kaiju United on Facebook. There's a Facebook group and Discord server, and go follow them on various social media accounts. And also follow us on social media accounts, like Brian said, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, all at Talking Toku. Yeah.
Yep.
Go check us out. We're a cool couple of folks.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. I think that's going to be it for tonight, everyone. All right. Again, we don't really know what we're going to be covering next time, but we'll let you know. Yeah.
You'll hear it here.
You'll hear it here first. Well, not first. Yep. We'll hear it first because we're the ones recording it. That's how that works.
Yeah.
All
right, let's end the episode now.
All right. Yeah, we have Resident Evil to watch. We have important things to get to. All right.
Yep.
This has been Talking Toku. I have been your host, David.
I'm Brian, as usual.
Have a great Halloween, everyone. Hope you do some
have a happy
stuff.
Halloween. Don't put drugs in candy.
Or razor blades.
Be nice. And if you're not going to be nice, just turn your lights off.
Yeah. You know, I
Fuck
remember
those kids.
I remember one time.
Turn your lights off.
I remember one time I was trick or treating, and like I went up to this house that had the lights on, and the guy came out and was like really, really confused. He didn't seem to know what was going on, and he was sober, by the way. At least he seemed sober. And me and my friend were like, "It's Halloween, man." And he's like, "Oh," and he walks back inside and turns the light off.
Oof.
It was really funny.
Yeah, just turn your lights off.
Turn your lights off, man.
And know what days of the month it is.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
But if you're going to be celebrating Halloween, do it respectfully. Don't be
nice.
Be nice to people. Dress in some, politically correct costumes, for God's sake. And that's always a big thing.
Oh my God, we gotta end this episode.
Never, Brian. This episode's going on forever. All right.
Episode over.
All right. See you guys next time, everyone.
Bye.